Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Apocablog. I fucked this up yesterday, 1519 of beginning to notice a pattern here. And it's not a good one. Old and blind, both ways. Breaking unity pledge, Joe Biden backs Trump impeachment trial. President potted plant Joe Biden threw aside his inaugural pledge to seek unity, declaring Monday evening that the Senate impeachment trial of former President Donald J. Trump has to happen. You know, because we live in a banana republic where you prosecute political rivals for nothing. And then Miss Psaki, Jen Psaki, his fucking ventriloquist dummy, the ventriloquist dummy's dummy. CDC director saying teachers don't need to be vaccinated for school reopening isn't official guidance. If the CDC says that out loud and then they back it up again later that day and say, yeah, no, it really isn't necessary. Yeah. How much more do you really need? After promising $2,000 stimulus checks would be sent out immediately, Biden says $1,400 checks are what the American people were promised. Now, I'm going to defend Joe on this one. He doesn't know. He has like the difference between 2,000, 1,400, what day it is, who he is, where he is, what's being... So I'm going to give Joe a personal pass on this one. This lady, not so much. The ventriloquist dummy says Biden's $1,400 COVID relief payments fulfills his promise of $2,000 stimulus checks. Now, she's not senile, and neither are we. So, and then, of course, the circle woman, because she always wants to circle back to things, because she doesn't like, being pinned down to answer a fucking question. Report shows Biden staff pre-screening, fuck me. Let's try that again. The circle woman. Report shows Biden staff pre-screening Psaki press briefing questions. 3 sources with knowledge of the matter on written communications that reveal that the Biden administration has already on occasion probed reporters to see what questions they plan on asking the new White House press secretary when called upon during briefings. This is less than 2 weeks into the administration. Now, you know who didn't get that? You know who they never told what they were going to come in and say? Kayleigh McEnany. And you know who was always prepared and kicked their fucking asses every time they opened their stupid lying mouths? Kayleigh McEnany. Psaki, when asked about Biden's EO forcing girls to compete against biological males, well, she said that the president's belief is that trans rights are human rights. Doesn't really answer the question, but I guess the fucking trannies are more important than our daughters. Psaki says this is a good one. Psaki says 50% of schools with in-person classes 1 day a week fulfills Joe Biden's promise to reopen the schools. Despite promising the end of COVID, Joe Biden incurs nearly 40,000 deaths in his first 10 days in office. You know what? I have to be fair here. And as much as it galls me, no, he didn't, because 40,000 people didn't die of fucking COVID. They died of heart disease, fucking diabetes, all and sundry. They may have died with COVID, possibly, probably not, but they did not die of COVID. And then here's another favorite of mine. You know what? This takes a deep dive. We're gonna hold off on that one since we're already 5.5 minutes in. Now, all of these things, these are called lies. Outright, to your face, right in front of you, lies. And thankfully, we have a watchdog media out there. MSNBC's Wallace cuts away from Kevin McCarthy. What you are watching now is not true. So we have an established standard of if somebody is speaking mistruths, glaringly obvious mistruths, and they're verifiable, we are going to cut away from that person speaking. And cutting away, Wallace said, we're going to come out of it because most of it is not true. Most of what Kevin McCarthy is saying, while he appears to believe it as it comes out of his mouth, is not true. Marjorie Taylor Greene's committee appointments are not in the air and up for a vote today because of Democrats. It's in the air and up for a vote today because Kevin McCarthy can't clean his own house. Now, what they did here is the Democrats broke 200 years because the Republicans said, "Yeah, I'm not pulling her off her committee seats." The Democrats went ahead and broke a 200-year tradition of the majority not fucking with the minority party and their committee seats, and that's off the table now. And much like, the filibuster for judges and all the rest of it, hopefully they will live to regret it. But I digress. That's a topic for another show. You know what we don't see when this woman and her fucking boss lie? We don't see anybody calling them out on it, and we certainly don't see anybody taking them off their network. This is banana republic shit, kids. This is literally a dictatorship. This is Chinese fucking tyranny where, the company paper says whatever the fuck I tell them to, regardless. It could literally have a picture of Xi Jinping fucking a goddamn pangolin, and they would say, President Xi loves pets. And that's what we have here. That's what we're living in. An administration that, obviously they're liars because they're cheaters, and cheaters lie. They have to. But we have an administration that is not going to utter a falsehood outside of, I'm taking your job, I'm taking your money, I'm not letting you go back to work. Outside of those truths, everything else these people say is the polar opposite of what they do and what they mean. And the vast majority I have more journalistic integrity in covering this shit than the vast majority of and I actually do the research, so I know what they're doing. So that's where we are, kids. Liars, lies, and and by the way, speaking of liars and lies, Okay, I guess I'll have to get that one to you another time. Yeah, can't find it. I suck. Anyway, do it again tomorrow.